So we have spawning down here in the bottom left corner of Oxide to start things off. Give it up for Dragon Phoenix Gaming's Hero. And his opponents over here representing Team NV. He is DRG. Now to start things off, it looks like Hero is just going to be a little bit of a nuisance here, forcing DRG to take his third base once again while making sure that it's a little bit out of the way. So just making sure that he can kind of get in there, get a little bit of damage, and kind of force the creep spread to be further and further away from him as he's kind of setting up down here on the low ground, getting his expansion up. In this first game, I'm not expecting anything too crazy out of these guys. PvZ can be a very aggressive matchup at times, but I think the first game is just going to be a little bit of a feeling out while they kind of figure out where they are in relation to each other. But as for right now, that spawning pool is on the way. Hero dropping the cybernetics core. He's got the Nexus down at a relative needs. Who is the man that needs a PC? You know what? Pretty much all of us. If you've tried getting PC components recently, that's who needs the PC. Now, I'm quite interested to see which route Hero is going to go for here. It looks like it is going to be the Twilight Council. So, right now he's just kind of setting up. It looks like it might be Adept Glaives. Probably could be DTs as well. I'm not sure that's going to be the best option on this map. But if DRG is caught off guard with something like that, that is going to be a huge deal. As... I'm just waiting to see these guys power on up. Now, remember, there are going to be 4 days of this amazing StarCraft 2 action, so make sure you tune on in to all of them, because this is just going to get more and more epic as time goes on. The DT Shrine is going to be down, and honestly, I'm not 100% certain about that. Right now, DRG is being very proactive. He's trying to get in there and just get a little bit of information as to what a Hero is going for, but he still hasn't seen it just yet. I feel like at this point you do want to throw down maybe just 1 or 2 safety spores just in case your opponent is going for Oracle. It's not that big of an investment, and it can really save you in situations like this. But he's also doing a very good job. If that Warp Prism leaves the base to the north side, it is going to be spotted almost instantly. And that is going to be a huge tell for DRG. So really good on just keeping his map presence out there and making sure that he has very good vision of everything. Now the Prism has been spotted, the spores have been dropped, and now the Lings kind of catching a whiff of the action, wanting to get a little bit of damage done, so we'll go after that Stalker, but now the DTs do reveal themselves far too early. Oh my goodness, that is about the worst case scenario because they are not very close to that Prism, so they have the potential to get picked off here once they get into range. Got a couple of Queens as well that could do some damage to that Warp Prism. It's like this DT not really finding anything either. So he is just going to have to try and evacuate it, but that is more than likely going to go down. So a very good start for DRG. He's held the first wave. And honestly, he does have the roaches already out, I believe. Yeah, okay, he needs some more to deal with these Archons. As the Queen's just gonna kind of poke away at that War Prism, try and get rid of it. Getting rid of the creep, that's pretty good. Gonna force those Queens to lose some energy on the transfuse, but now Hero kind of just really needs to keep DRG in his base for a while he's still powering up. We see those additional gateways. We see the immortal switch to deal with the roaches, but DRG's got another big trick up his sleeve. He's got the Spire on the way. Oh my goodness, that is going to be pretty big. And a little bit difficult here for Hero. He's not really having a anti-air army. He's focusing primarily on his ground force that really just doesn't shoot up. Alright, still kind of just rotating around, looking for a little bit of an angle. And he will keep getting the creep, which is nice, but at this point, you definitely want to be doing much more damage here. The roaches do get caught out of position, but there is enough of the reinforcements coming up on back in, as this little run by does get deflected. So now Hero is still on the attack, and that's probably not the best situation for him. And the reason I say that, actually hold that thought, because he's in the main base doing quite a bit of work. A couple of big warpins going to just distract this main army. A big cancel on the 4th base. So these guys are still on equal workers, or excuse me, bases 7 minutes into the game. And that is not going to bode well for this Zerg player. He's going to just dive right on top of this. The force field's going to keep a lot of these roaches out. And another big warp in. There are still so many immortals available here and not that many roaches left over. Hero, though, does lose the Warp Prism, so he will have to back on out. He cannot overextend here. He is doing so well. He just can't lose this army, and there you have it. A recall going on down. Will lose a sentry, though. So, my big question is... Oh, Hero did not see that Spire. And that is going to be pretty big, because right now, he's going into Disruptors. And that's a pretty big investment for him right now. He does have some Archons, but Mutas, they just do so well because they can just go wherever those Archons are. They're not very mobile. Excuse me. Getting choked up about the Mutalisks here. But there you go. Hero seeing this for the first time is going to lose quite a few of the probes. So DRG catching him completely off guard, trying to morph in as many Stalkers as possible. But the Archon is actually stuck out of the main base. Oh my goodness. This has gone from bad to worse for Hero. Now DRG is just going to pump on the Roach button. And that's just it. 6 Mutas doing all of this damage while he's now pushing the front. Oh my goodness. DRG has played this out very, very well. Has to be careful not to lose too much to the Disruptors, though. Got to be very careful in that regard. Focus Fire's one down. A beautiful connection right there. And now, Hero just trying to micro his little Protoss heart out. Will survive for the meantime, but these mutas going to come in and get a little bit more damage. And he kind of just taking a look at the units lost tab here. For the cost of 3 mutas, he's got essentially a mineral line. Now DRG going to be diving in once again, gets an immortal for almost free, and now he is out of force field energy. I don't know if there's too much more that hero can do. He is down over 100 supply. The DT doing work because there is no detection. In fact, there is some detection all the way over here, but a little bit far from the action. I don't think DRG really cares though, as he has cleaned out this base once again. Oh, Jesus. How many kills do these mutas have? 5? 7? 5? Absolutely incredible here. Hero is fighting his heart out, but unfortunately, this is kind of the situation where you probably should just stop fighting. Yeah. Down here in the top right position of the map. Give it up for Hero. And his opponent in the bottom left, he is DRG. So 1 letter less than Hero, but 1 game up. And remember, this is a best of 3. Also, there is no codes. I apologize. I have lied to you. But now, with this best of 3, Hero really doesn't have any room to breathe anymore. He's got to play this one by the book. Anything crazy, anything just cheeky isn't really going to work anymore. And he's kind of figured that out with how that last game went. Oh, you forgive me? Oh, thanks, ambulance. I can't forgive myself, though. So, like I was saying, 2000 Atmosphere is just a little bit of a longer map. We do have that kind of rush distance, a bit windy here, as it's pretty far from the third base, but DRG is going to take this much more aggressive position in the triangle third, which is going to allow him to kind of spread that creep very far forward very, very quickly, which does mean that we have the potential for that aggression to just go into overdrive as this game gets to the mid one. Now, Hero wasn't around for one big development of PVZ. He wasn't around for the whole Void Ray stage, so I doubt we're gonna really see that. Although I think that would probably be the best way for him to kind of slow this game down, get to the late game and just try and overwhelm DRG with that massive air army. But no, it's just going to be straight up Twilight Council once again. This time DRG sees it a lot earlier. And honestly, I think this time it's just going to be a straight up adept glaive build. I know I said that last game, but this time it makes a lot more sense. Alright, so this adept doing some pretty good work, just kind of diving around looking for those kills. He will force some additional lings to be made because DRG is just droning up quite heavily right now. But there we go, the glaive has begun. Unfortunately, he never made anything that shoots up, so this is pretty well scouted. So all DRG needs to do is drop that Roach Warren, get some roaches out, just some sort of defense. Is Dragon Phoenix Gaming Hero the same? No, it's the other one. It's the CJ Entis hero, I think. I know, we have too many heroes. Although if you own a sandwich shop, there's no such thing as a too many heroes. Getting sidetracked here and make myself hungry, but there we go. The Roach Warren is down. The Ling production has started, and now all he has to do is survive the first wave. Keep this from snowballing, and he should be perfectly fine here. Gonna add on a couple of sentries as well. I don't... See, this is kind of the thing. I think Hero is just really delayed with his build right now. Waiting for the Warp Prism has cost him a lot of time. He hasn't really warped in a ton of units. So this first wave is going to be pretty small. Only 5 adepts. He's going to get a couple of more here, but I think DRG is just going to take this time. Yeah, he's opening up that attack route, making himself a much bigger threat. And once this attack comes, he does have that open position to just go across, but here we go. First, the blood in this attack. Now just going to pick up and try and rotate around. Creeps making it a little bit difficult to do so. And the wall is down, so oh my goodness. DRG's just going to go for it. As these adepts going to try and make their way into the main base. They will not find a drone line. DRG very quick on the pullback. The shield battery overcharge is quite powerful, but that will go down. And now the third base is under threat. All of the probes are dead. The Warp Prism being forced to recall here, and yeah, just a brilliant move here as DRG decides, hey, I don't need to throw anything away. I don't need to kill you right now. But if you guys know StarCraft 2, Hero might be thinking he's already dead. Now, granted, he does have disruptors, which are pretty good, but here we... Oh, no, the army does get caught. A very good force field will save it for the meantime. As the Roaches are still back at home, it is just pure Ling. But over time, that energy is going to get depleted here. As DRG does back out. Decent connection. One Ravager dead. Gotta say, quite a low econ game, all things considered here. DRG only sitting on about 63 workers, while Hero stuck at this 46 mark. That's just gonna make these units a lot more important for him here. The Queen trying to get rid of this disruptor, but it's a couple of huge connections going down. DRG trying to fight into the choke point. He's got to make sure that he doesn't try and do that. Ling's still looking for that third base, but Hero trying to take it on the triangle position now. As he's just kind of powering up. He does have a nice, scary army. Currently sitting on 64. But DRG is looking quite scary as well. His creep is almost to Hero's bases, so he can really just reposition and rebuild himself quite easily. The Lynx as well, just keeping Hero's army back. As the disruptors do go down, Hero not paying attention to his units on this side, so not necessarily sloppy play, but it's just a little bit slower play than we're used to. But here we go, DRG getting up the ramp. The force field's not in time to do so. and they will be broken down. He is out of energy and out of time, as he only has one immortal available. Shield overcharge has been popped. But DRG really doesn't even have to engage down there in that position. He is between the natural and the third base. Not going to overextend here. Will try and retreat with these units. The Biles trying to keep these Stalkers back, and they will be able to do so. But DRG will be forced back for a while. Just a small while, though. As he's got the Roach printer once again just on full down. Breaking down another little bit of rocks. Taking a look at the upgrades here. We will have +2 on these Colossi transition. But once again, we're in that situation where DRG is transitioning to the Muta swap, and he doesn't even need to make that many Mutas. We saw the power of just 6. This game is trolling. You know, I don't think he could have actually finished it, because while he did get a couple of good engagements there, Hero would have been able to kind of just hold on with what he had. He had these disruptors, which makes it difficult to engage. And he did have the upgrade advantage for a bit. But I digress, because 12 Mutas are out. And Hero is going to be moving out himself on to the creep for the second time. The Disruptor just hanging out in the Warp Prism, just looking for some damage. The Stalkers gonna get one dead on the retreat, as Hero just kind of rotating back and forth, seesawing himself in this location. Oh, that could have been a game changer there. But DRG is completely maxed out. The Mutas are going to hit the mineral line. 12 are going to go down, forcing a humongous recall of those Stalkers. But unfortunately, you're going to have to fight multiple locations at once. Finds the Warp Prism. So that is a dead Disruptor as well. DRG just all over the place. And that is a huge connection for Hero. Going to even up the supply a little bit. But as you can kind of see by the units lost tab, 30 workers going down. He is down to 36 or 46. And so unfortunately, I think this might be a big slow burnout here, because at this point DRG not gonna really care about being cost efficient, because he can just remax very, very quickly. He's got a bank building up. He's got plenty of economy. He's rebuilt sorry, I'm forgetting English. It's early in the morning, but he's building up quite the economy. And yeah, these Mutas just going to be able to do quite a bit of work. You can't keep these Stalkers away from the main force. You need something to buffer for the Colossi and the Disruptors. And with what he has, he just doesn't really have that. Is going to just get right on top of that shield battery as well. Gets a couple of good pickoffs with the Disruptors. Gonna just sacrifice quite a few of these Mutas. And this is by design, because he is starting the Lurker transition. Doesn't really need the Mutas much anymore. But here we go. While all the Stalkers are over here, the main army is going to rush to the defense of this base. I think DRG just wants to focus fire that down. He's got to be careful, though, because now the Stalkers blocking the retreat. Unfortunately, that is going to be a very Pyrrhic victory for Hero. And actually, Hero does have the supply advantage here. So he's going to try and push into it, but there is static defense, there is Lurkers, and there are Hydras as well. They do quite a bit of DPS. The mutas as well, just kind of splashing around. So yeah, here we go. Hero kind of recognizing that he does need to get something done while he rebuilds that fourth. Walks right into the lurker wall. Now, these lurkers don't have fast burrow just yet. But they do get a very nice Archon pickoff right here. More probes going down on the other side. Now, he only has one disruptor as well, so those lurkers won't have to reposition too often. He will be able to find this base and get a nice quick pickoff right there, but the mutas starting to get cleaned up. Hero's still ahead in supply. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't think that trade was terrible for DRG. You know, roaches are pretty cheap, and he did need the supply. But, I mean, it's really cost him a lot of time here, but this is going to be quite scary now. The lurkers can just re-burrow wherever they want. Blinding Cloud gonna go down, forcing the Stalkers to retreat. And now DRG is kind of just holding back. He's got to get something done on the other side. So these Lings not recognizing that the wall was down. DRG, man, you had some good moments here, but kind of equalize the game quite a bit with that last move. Roaches not even going to try and get into the base. Main army trying to kind of retreat as well. Now DRG is maxed out once again. He's adding on those Carapace upgrades. Hero, he got some good damage in. He backed off. He doesn't want to throw this game away. From this point, I would like to see him add on maybe some Storm, which he does have. See, even though he's kind of slowed down a little bit, he is still faster than the caster. But the Adepts will go down, trying to get in here with a small little Zealot run by. Parasitic Bomb will go down, so the War Prism might not be too long for this world. That will go down. But the Zealots will fall as well. The Stalkers, just action all over the place. Hero just sending off small amounts of units to all sides of the map, looking for whatever damage he can. But unfortunately, that is going to leave his fourth base quite open as the lurkers do burrow the probes on the retreat. He won't lose too many of them. As we can see here, the army can't really engage into this. That's just far too many lurkers. We do see a big roach run by here. Gonna try and get into the natural or the third base as Hero gonna lose the disruptor. Force field, feedback is going to drop on the Vipers, making them lose their energy, but the roaches just doing absolute work over here, forcing the recall on quite a few of these units. And now, Hero's not dead yet, which is the crazy thing here. He does have all the tools for a comeback. Unfortunately, he just doesn't have really the unit composition to be in multiple locations at once. So, oh my goodness, that was deadly. That was so deadly. I think from here, DRG was thinking, hey, do I base trade this? No, I'm just going to come back. I'm going to kill your army. And I'm just going to win the game. But let's see if he can do it. The Disruptors going to go off. A lot of damage done to the lurkers, but some of them do survive. Storm going to whiff, it looks like. Not hit the lurkers. Over here, we do have a little bit of damage going on. The Archon, so valuable at this point. Hydras trying to work their way through the cannons. Should have just killed the Artosis pylon, to be completely honest there. But here we go. Once again, the main army is going to find each other, but Hero is going to disengage. He's down over 70 supply, 50 of that in the army. Roaches. Oh my goodness, that could have been huge, but the lurkers do not find their mark. Only one High Templar going down. But now Hero is caught away from his base. I don't think he has a recall available, but a huge storm blanket just going to go all over DRG. Since a majority of the army isn't here, his supply isn't going to dip below 140. Now, again, that was kind of a Pyrrhic victory for Hero. He's lost quite a few units. And it's going to be a little bit harder for him to remax there. Down below 100 supply. It's going to come down to this push. As DRG just doesn't have any units right now. This is absolutely insane. But as the rest of the army meets up, the Disruptor does not get its shot off. And Hero will back out, will retreat. Loses the last of the Disruptor. The Immortal will go down. The Archons just don't have what they need to fight this. And I think DRG has done it, but I have been wrong before. Mostly in math class, but here we go. The last Archon will go down, fighting outside of that range of the shield battery overcharge. And as this base falls, that is pretty much the last of Hero's economy, trying to recall them out. And he will lose that base, and that's pretty much all he has. Yeah, trying to get this base down here. He can transfuse that for days while these queens just have a grand old time. Yeah, Storm is pretty good versus Hydralisks. That's why you do need some roaches or some lurkers. Just kind of units that can soak up that damage to buffer for the Hydras in the back. But, I mean, that's been true pretty much the entirety of SC2's history as the War Prism does go down. And that's going to be it. GG.